Thank you everybody for listening to me. This is the first time I've spoken at a service, so I'm really excited. So today we're talking about the sign Leo. It corresponds to the Egyptian letter Ketoloth, Hebrew Quaff, English Q, the number 19, in tarot, Arcanum 19, the sun, color, the lighter shades of orange, tone, high D, occult science, organic alchemy, human function, inspiration, natural remedy, such herbs such as chamomile, daffodil, cowslip, anise, eglantine, fennel, eyebright, dill, lavender, poppy, yellow lily, marigold, St. John's wort, mistletoe, pimpernel, parsley, and garden mint. Mineral, the talismanic gem ruby, and such stones such as chrysolite, hyacinth, and soft yellow minerals. Leo, designated in the firmament by a lion, is the fifth sign of the zodiac. It belongs to the element fire, therefore it is impulsive, passionate, and daring. It is a fixed sign comparable to hot metal, dominating, ambitious, and resolute. Belonging to the second degree of emanation, its actions spring from the emotions rather than from the intellect. It is a masculine sign possessed of unbending dignity. In human anatomy, it rules the heart and back. Leo people are sympathetic, warm-hearted, candid, forceful, and fond of honors and high office. They are not so active as Aries people, but possess great determination to rise and strive to rule through strength and stability rather than through alertness and activity. Their ideas are large and majestic, despising petty effort, and in striving to reach higher states, often overreaching. Unlike Aries people, when aroused emotionally, they do not count the cost. The dominant idea is I will. Those born under the sign Leo are marked for their courage, for the strength of the physical constitution, and for recuperative power. They are honest, fearless, magnanimous, generous to their friends, impulsive, passionate, faithful, sympathetic, and ambitious. They are lovers of their offspring and will defend them regardless of cost, are majestic, proud, and become natural rulers of others. Their ideas are usually on a large scale, seldom stooping to pettiness or meanness. These qualities were also discerned in the lion, and therefore the Masons of old traced a lion in the sky to mark the fifth division of the zodiac. Leo, ruler of the heart and man, is the sign ruled by the sun, which is typical of creative power. And because the deadly cobra has the power of raising itself and expanding its hood in fancied resemblance to the procreative organ, it was and is venerated in many countries of the world as sacred to the sun. Therefore, to represent the sign briefly in writing, the cobra, much conventionalized, was used. The key phrase of Leo is I will, and people born when the sun is in this sign commonly exhibit more than the average amount of that fixity of purpose which goes by the name of willpower. Yet power of will itself is dependent upon ability to keep the desires focused on the objective to which once they were so strongly attracted that a decision to follow some line of conduct toward their realization was made. Therefore, the stronger the desires are which an individual has, the greater will be his willpower if he can keep them, instead of running wild, turned into some particular channel of his choosing. In order to accomplish this, there must be the willingness, when occasion requires, to face disagreeable situations. Such willingness is called courage. Courage is of different kinds. For that sweetness which comes from the strong, which is the manifestation of spiritual growth, the desires must not be diverted from their lofty aim through wavering in the face of obstacles. Any accomplishment truly worthwhile requires the exercise of courage. The Leo person has great faith and trust in other people, and other people usually respond to this faith by endeavoring to live up to his expectations. He does not demand of subordinates that which is impossible to fulfill. He is a good entertainer. His best quality is kindness. His worst quality is domination. He has a great thirst for personal glory and craves a position of authority. He is much better at deputizing work than at taking orders from others. And sometimes he feels he should have a position of importance when in reality he is quite incapable of efficiently filling it. He should therefore early realize that kindness may often best be expressed through work rather than through issuing orders, and that the highest glory obtains to him who serves best. Thoughts ruled by the sign belong to the Will series. The first decade of Leo is pictured among the constellations by crater, a furnace or cup of fire. In this manner did the ancient masters of starry lore portray the fiery love nature of those born under this section of the sky. Their most notable trait is the desire and ability to rule others. And unless this tendency is restrained, there is an inclination to dominate. Yet always there is a powerful love nature. And as love is at the foundation of all achievement, if this love energy can be directed into proper channels, it leads on to success. But due to its strength, there is danger of turning to one extreme or the other, either permitting pleasure to dominate the life or in rebellion at the tendency toward excess to become the avowed ascetic. As neither extreme permits of proper expression of the fine qualities of this decadent, the watchword should be moderation. In the second or Jupiter decadent of Leo, the inherent quality of dominant control, characteristic of Leo, is modified by the sub-influence of the sign of the higher mind, Sagittarius. The philosophical and religious elements are more in evidence, and those born here readily recognize the prevalent weaknesses both in current politics and in current religion. And what is more important, they have the courage of their convictions and the power to gain followers for their own progressive ideas. To picture the ruthless onslaughts with which these people attack both persons and policies that seek to ravage society, Centaurus, a being having the lower parts of a horse and the upper parts of a man, is represented among the constellations as impaling on the end of his spear the wolf that pictures the last decade of Libra. This wolf symbolizes those who use the brilliancy of their intellects to suppress truth and to foist ignorance and superstition upon society that they may profit by its exploitation. As those born in this middle decade of Leo have the power to convince and lead others, it behooves them to put forth every effort to gain the truth and to take great care that they do not disseminate erroneous notions. Corvus the Raven is the constellation picturing the tendencies of people born under the third decade of Leo. This raven is pictured with wings outspread as if in readiness to fly aloft, but with its feet firmly gripping the back of Hydra, the water serpent. This symbolizes the emotions that are associated with creative energy, for the raven appears to be making a meal from the flesh of the serpent. In this last portion of Leo, we have the love of power and rulership combined with the quality of leadership bestowed by Aries. As a consequence, those born under this section of the sky are determined to rise in life regardless of obstacles. And when this tendency is carried to extremes, they will sacrifice their associates, their family, and even integrity itself in order to increase their power. But when their ideals are thoroughly for the welfare of humanity rather than for mere personal aggrandizement, they become of immense service to society through their natural gift of being able to handle others and use them to their advantage. In the sacred tarot, Leo rules Arcanum 19, the sun, which expresses in the spiritual world the supreme heaven, in the intellectual world true happiness, and in the physical world sacred union. The admonition reads, "Remember then, son of earth, that the light of the mysteries is a redoubtable fluid put by nature at the service of the will. She lights those who know how to direct her. She strikes down those with a thunderbolt, those who ignore her power or who abuse it. If Arcanum 19 should appear in the prophetic signs of thy horoscope, happiness awaits thee in domestic life if thou knowest how to strengthen the conjugal circle and guard its sacredness in the sanctuary of the heart." In divination, Arcanum 19 may be read as happiness and joy. It is depicted by a young man and a young woman holding each other by the hand. About them, a circle of 20 flowers springs from the earth. Above is a radiant sun of 21 rays, in the center of which is the symbol of conjugal union. This sun is the symbol of perfect union expressed on all three planes, perfect harmony of physical desires, intellectual interests, and spiritual aspirations. The young man and woman are plainly dressed, indicating simplicity of life, moderation of desires, and purity of thought. The flowers springing up about them symbolize the joy and happiness of the domestic circle, which more than compensate them for material hardships. The 20 flowers signify the potency of domestic harmony to awaken and resurrect the spiritual flora of the soul. This ensemble personifies the fact that when the sexes are truly wed and the triple laws of harmony are obeyed, that their lives are a constant round of happiness and joy, even amid adversities and privation. Numerically, 19 is the third decade of 1, or Arcanum 1, creative energy, operating on the plane of Arcanum 3, or marriage. Consequently, Arcanum 19 is the application of the divine fire, controlled by will and intelligence, to the elaboration of domestic bliss. It is not only the perfect nuptial union of 7, but denotes added sacrifice and devotion, as 7 plus 12 equals 19. It may or may not indicate the union of soulmates, but it certainly indicates the union of souls harmonious on all planes, not merely for the purpose of spiritual advancement, but also for the production and rearing of children and to experience the joy of a home. Yet, in fact, the harmonious vibrations set in motion and the sacrifices necessary in the rearing of offspring are the most potent factors in developing the spiritual nature. Astrologically, the house governing pleasure, joy, happiness, children, and love affairs is ruled by the zodiacal sign Leo. Leo governs the heart and its sympathies. It is the significator of such love that springs unselfishly into existence as the result of natural harmony rather than artificial marriages prompted by material advantages. This Lion of the House of Judah, as it is called in Revelation, corresponds to Arcanum 19. Inspiration means the indrawing of the spirit. The source of all life and energy and spiritual power is the sun, and he is the true source of inspiration. Leo is the home of the sun, the heart center of man, through which the sun exerts its strongest inspirational power. Leo, therefore, corresponds to the capacity to receive inspiration. Love, which is ruled by Leo, is acknowledged to be the power which opens the inspirational gates, which is symbolized by the sun overshadowing the lovers in Arcanum 19. In alchemy, Arcanum 19 represents the quaffing of the true elixir of life. This does not bring instantaneous perpetual youth, for perpetual youth is the result of the gradual changes which the elixir sets up in the finer forms. This elixir is really a love potion, and the result of quaffing it is a general and complete harmonizing of all the internal vibratory rates so that they sound a sweet and powerful chord, the pitch of which gradually rises as the body and desires are refined, and in time thus results in youthful vigor added to perpetual life.